Getting a hug makes us all feel good, but for one father, it had an even bigger impact, coping with a son diagnosed with autism. Stephen Yates shares his son's triumph over autism in his book, Getting My First Hug. Great to have you here with us, Stephen.
Thank you for having me.
Was it tough to write this book?
There were times when I would recall certain events and I'd choke up, and I might have shed a few tears at certain points, but there were also parts that made me very happy, and to recall some of the triumphs that made it all worthwhile.
You shared with me that your family is extremely private, so why write about your family's journey?
Well, I wanted to do something for families that were just beginning this journey. There's so much fear and so much that's unknown, and I wanted to give them some hope and some inspiration as well as some information, and to share with them that in our case it can have a happy ending, and so there is hope.
Interesting that in the book, because I read it, you never mention your son's name.
That's true. At one point I realized, as I was talking with my wife, that this story, although I was inspired to tell it, it really isn't about me. And I had to really respect the privacy of the rest of my family. You know, I was the one that was moved to write the book, not them. And so I took the names out and left my name in.
All right, diagnosis was a little difficult here. He was not diagnosed until he was 2 years old. Generally now you can get a diagnosis much earlier.
That's true.
What took so long?
Well, the primary symptom for us was speech delay. And, you know, children start to speak at different ages. Our daughter had started to speak at about age 1. So as time went on, my wife especially began to get a feeling that there might be an issue.
Was it easier for her to detect that, though, because she spent a lot of time with him?
I think so. I think there was sort of a mother's intuition, but also she had spent a lot of time with him, and then she had tracked how our daughter had developed versus how our son was developing, and so she could see, you know, as the months went by, you know, gee, he's not where we would like him to be, and so she really took the lead.
So you took the first step and you went to a well-known center.
That's true.
To get a diagnosis.
There was so much that I didn't know. I wasn't sure whether they were going to be able to have some sort of silver bullet there that would...
But you did think there was going to be, right?
I was hoping.
Initially?
Oh, sure. I was hoping that they would be able to examine our son, say, here's what the issue is, here's how we're going to fix it, and 3 weeks later or 6 weeks later, we walk away happy and with the story complete.
But it's not that way with autism.
No, it's not. No, it's not. They were able to do a bunch of testing and tell us what they saw in our son, which was not very satisfying because they couldn't give us a clear roadmap as to here's how you'll go forward and here's what the end result will be. That's what's so scary for a parent, is you don't know what the end of the road is going to look like.
Because every child's different.
Every child is different. We were fortunate. Our son was very much on the mild end of the spectrum, but every child is different.
You went through that stage of denial.
Oh, absolutely. There are so many things you can tell yourself. You know, boys talk later than girls. He's making his wishes understood. Seems like a happy child. There were just a million things you could say because you didn't want to accept that there was something wrong. And really, it's only when you accept that you can start moving forward with therapies and start making progress.
Let's talk about the therapies. It is important to get the diagnosis early so that they can start therapy early.
That's right.
And what type of therapies? You had alternative therapies in this book.
Well, you don't know what's going to work. And it's an experiment where you have to try a lot of things all at once. And so it's impossible to know which therapy is the most effective. But for us, really it was diet. And I would have never thought that a food allergy could affect a child's speech development. That just didn't seem intuitive to me.
So for your son, it was diet?
It was.
What did you have to remove?
Well, he was subsisting on bagels and milk and peanut butter almost exclusively. And a naturopath that we visited said, you ought to test him for allergies. And it turned out that he was allergic to the gluten in the bagels, the casein in the milk,
oh my
and the peanuts in the peanut butter. And so 90% of what he was eating he was allergic to, but the allergy was manifesting itself in this delayed speech. So we took all of that out of the diet for the whole family so we wouldn't have it in the house, and that's when we began to see progress just a few weeks later.
Really quickly, we're running out of time, but
Sure.
getting that first hug, why was that so significant for you?
Well, you know, in addition to the speech delay, he became sort of emotionally withdrawn, and he really only related to his mother. And as a father, as a parent, you wanna hug your child, you wanna give love and get love back from them. So once he began to make progress, and I was finally able to say, "Hey, give Dad a hug," and feel his arms around me, it was all I ever wanted.
I'm sure it was a very emotional
It
moment.
was. I'm choking up now.
Okay, again, the book is Getting My First Hug. Where can you get it?
You can get it on Amazon.com. Just search for the name Getting My First Hug, or my name, Stephen E. Yates. I'm on Twitter at Stephen E. Yates, and I tweet about the book all the time.
Excellent.
So try one of those.
And how's he doing really quickly?
Terrific. He's in college. He's studying video production.
Wow.
Maybe working here someday.
Wonderful. Stephen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't go away. There's more Connecticut Style right after this.